Thank you for joining today's session. The guest speaker for today's session is Dr. Swati. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Swati.
Thank you, Kanika.
So, Dr. Swati is originally from Haryana. She has cleared her All Indian Pre-Medical Entrance Exam in 2007 and scored All India 41 rank. Along with that, doctor has also worked. She has also cleared her Haryana PMT, BHU, Manipal, and AIE exam. Then, after completing her MBBS in 2012, doctor went to USA for doing her USMLE exam, and she did her MD from USA University. And after completing her MD and her studies there in US, she came back to India to serve her country, which very few of the doctors do. And when I got connected with doctor, I was very proud to see that doctor came back from US to serve her country. Currently, doctor is working as a medical consultant and at United Medicity Hospital. Along with that, she is also a chief medical officer at Subscare Urgent Care Center in Paragraj. So a very warm welcome to you, doctor.
Thank you, Kanika. Thanks.
Thank you. Doctor, you can take over the sessions from here.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. As Kanika as well given all of you a good information. So I'm not gonna bore you with that, but just a brief background that I have also given in my previous video recording I sent all of you, that I did AIPMT. At that time it was called AIPMT, now it is called NEET, and in that in 2007 I did that, and then in 2012 I completed my MBBS, and then in 2014 I took the steps, step 1, 2, and 3, and then I applied for USMLE match and the interview process, and then I started my residency in USA in 2015, which I completed in 2018. Then I worked for a couple of years, for 2.5 years in USA as internal medicine physician, and then I came back here in COVID era, mainly because of the COVID going on, and I didn't want to leave my family here, all of that stuff. So I have been here. I have been a person who has prepared for Indian exam, and then I have prepared for USMLE exam and interview process, and then I have worked as a resident and also as a physician in USA. First, I would like to talk about the USMLE steps and what has changed since I have done it, and now what is the process. So when I did it, it was step 1, which is based on basic foundation knowledge, basically first and second year material, in which your pharmacology, microbiology, forensic, and anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, all of that is included. That is the basic foundation of the question, but still questions are clinical scenario based only. You can find some examples on USMLE or NPME websites. There are tutorial, or I can even share the links that you can do to get yourself aware of how the questions are prepared. And then there was step 2 CK. After step 1, you can do, there's no you have to do CK and then CS, but at that time I did CK, and then there was step 2 CS, which is the major change now, that there is no step 2 CS. So the difference was step 2 CK was basically clinical knowledge, theory based, and then they will test your practical skills, which will be English speaking skills and bedside manners, and how you talk to the patient, how you can reach a diagnosis and apply that clinical knowledge to get proper treatment for the patient. They will test that in clinical skills exam. So step 1 and step 2 CK you can take while you are in India and while you are in medical college. But step 2 CS you can take while you're in medical college, but you have to go to USA to do it. So now things have changed. As I said, the step 2 CS is there no more. There are actually 6 pathways USMLE website has mentioned, which you can do instead, and there are different things which are required now, which I think it is simpler because now you don't have to go to USA, and if you don't have any clinical experience, like I did not have any clinical experience before giving my CS, but I still managed to pass that. But it is a pretty difficult situation if you haven't been to USA before and you're going there for the first time for your exam. But now you can, I guess you can take like TOEFL or any English speaking exam they have mentioned, and then you can give your clinical skills. You can do a comprehensive clinical test over here with a provider, and even in India, and you can submit that to USMLE that I am okay with my clinical skills because I have passed that exam here. So as I mentioned, there are pathways mentioned, and there are different details they require, which again they will ask for, like how are your English speaking skills, so you have to pass a test for that, but that is all just here in India, you don't have to go there. And then there is step 3, which is optional before going for a match. You can do it. It will increase your chances of matching, obviously, but it is optional. You have to do it before you graduate, but you don't have to do it before you apply for interview process. So I'm talking about match. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that. Match is something USMLE people do to get the best residents. They after doing step 1, step 2, and step 3, basically there is a NVMe website. You go there and you submit all the scores, and then you apply for match, and you get in different calls for the interviews from different universities based on your profile. And then you go there to USA, and then you interview in those different universities or hospitals, and then there is the match process which goes on if they liked you or not, and based on that they give you a result that you matched here in this university, and then you start in July. So I started in July 2015. Before, there are a couple of things you can do to, as I said, that they see your profile, not just your scores. So now, and before I forget, another thing which is changed now is step 1 is also pass or fail now. Before it used to be a score-based system. So the higher score you get, there are more chances of getting an interview. So 270, 280 score was considered a very big score at that time. But now it just pass or fail. And it just changed in 2022. So, and then now step 2 CK is score based. And in step 2 CK, some things have also changed. Basically, they have changed the testing material a little bit. They say that the questions are more clinically oriented, which we are not able to test in clinical skills test now. Now we're going to test in CK, that how well you manage a patient, how well you manage a clinical scenario. So that is how what has changed in step 2 CK. And step 3 has always been like that. Step 3 is basically, some people say it is easier to take step 3 when you have done first year of your residency, because basically what they do is they test your knowledge of being in USA and treating patients in USA as a resident over there. So we as IMGs, we don't really get an idea of how different it is. That patients are treated in a different way, and bedside manners are totally different, and medicines names and everything are totally different. So some people say that it is easier to take it, and I agree that it is easier to take it. But as an IMG, I would definitely recommend that you take step 3 CK before you apply for match, because it increases your chances like much higher when you take step 3 and apply for CK, because they know now that you have already taken step 3 and your skills must already be up to date with the US clinical knowledge. So that's why they prefer it in IMG, that you have already taken step 3 along with step 1 and step 2 CK. I did my step 3 before matched, that I think helped a lot. The other things which you can do to help you in your interview process or in just increasing your matching profile is you going to USA and rounding in their hospital. So there are 3 things in that way you can do. One is called observership, other thing is called clerkship, and then there are research. Observership is something you can do in your medical school. Observership is something you just go there and you just observe how things are. Obviously, you are present during rounds, you are present in the hospital, you're present when they treat the patient, when you're in front of the patient. You can even talk to the patient, but you cannot touch the patient. You cannot be liable for anything because you don't have malpractice insurance or anything. You just don't have the permission to do anything to the patient, but you can observe, you can chat, and you can see how things are done over there. So I did 2 observerships just to get an idea before going there. One of them was in University of Miami, and other one was in Cleveland. So that really helped me a lot to see, even though I did not get to like treat the patient but my attendings were really nice, and they would take my opinion and I would talk to them about cases, and I would be an active participant in the discussion. So that really helps. Other thing which is really good, after you have graduated from your medical school, you can do clerkship. Which is harder to get, obviously, but it is much better for your CV and also for just your confidence, and for because clerkship is where you can actually be a part of the patient care over there. You can touch the patient, you can examine the patient, you can take history, and you can present patients on rounds. And then attendants know that you are you're doing clerkship over there, so you will have a chance of getting a good letter of recommendation from the attendings if you are an active participant of the patient care. So that's clerkship. Sometimes you have to pay for them, and sometimes there are some universities have programs which you can you can apply for it. If you're selected, that's well and good. Otherwise, there are other programs which they just have this, you pay the fee, and then if you get accepted, then you can go. If you don't, some people, the third thing is research. I want you to talk about that. That is also very important thing important thing you should have on your CV. You should really start having some research on your CV during your medical school years. There are plenty of opportunities. Even here, you can write case reports, and you can be even small studies, quality improvement projects in your hospital when you're doing internships. They value that a lot. But if you don't have any research, it's not like that you cannot match, but it's really good to have it. And some people, if they don't match, and even if they do, even if they will match and they have all the possibilities, some people they take a gap year to do research because they are interested in that area. So they can get research in USA. Some of them are actually paid research jobs, and you can go there on visa and help out, and you see everything on first-hand basis, and you actively participate in some research, and that looks really good on your CV. If you can get in any university, in any academic university, that's the best. But even if you are not able to get that, try to get some research in India, in your hospital, even in some case studies and some poster presentations, some in conference you can go and present your case studies. So that's really good if you can get that. So these 3 things help you along with the steps, and then you take all that material, your step scores, transcripts, and then your medical school transcripts, and then your observership or clerkship or research experience, and then your letter of recommendations from attendings here or from your attendings in USA if you have done any of these things. And then you take that as a bundle, and then you apply for USMLE. It's a costly process. It will require some, I think the step 1 cost is it used to be $1,500, and same goal. Step CK is about $1,800, and then for step 3 again, you have to go there and you have to be in USA to do that. So that requires another expense. You have to have at least a substantial amount to do USMLE. So that was about the steps. But I also wanted to tell you about the resources you can use to prepare for USMLE. There is USMLE U World. There are that's very important that you do that because they have questions which are very let's say inspired or influenced from USMLE steps questions. They're very similar, so you have to do that. Books, I definitely recommend Kaplan Notes and first aid books for so step 1 and CK. So you take Kaplan Notes and then you add those to first aid, and then you just grant the first aid, and then you take your UWorld test, and then you see how you are scoring in UWorld, and then you take, when you feel prepared, you take the USMLE steps date online. And then you go, you have to go to Prometric centers to take the test. Other thing which you guys should know is the visa process, which is a big part of our journey. When we are doing, when you're in medical school and we go there for observership or clerkship, or we are going there, like I went for step CS, but you don't have to do that. So you go on visitor visa, you apply for visitor visa. And nowadays with COVID era, that is very hard to get. So that is one thing which is also different from my, I also actually had to wait for 6 months for my visa, but now it's even harder because of the COVID thing. But yeah, the B1 visa, B1 or B2 visa is visitor visa, which you get when you go there before residency. When you do get interviews, same thing, you are on visitor visa. You can stay there for 6 months in a row, but you can go there multiple times again and again. It's usually valid for 10 years. They will tell you how long it's valid for. But when you do get matched, so the universities either give you a J1 visa or H1 visa. I was on H1 visa. Usually IMGs are on H1 visa, but J1 visa, usually some program only offer J1 visa. The difference is on J1 visa, after you graduate, you have to do J1 waivership. Like you have to work in a hospital of their choice or their suburbs area to just to work over there and to repay kind of like that. We did this, and then now we chose J1 visa for a better hospital, and now we have to work in this hospital for a couple of years. Or people who want to do fellowship after residency, they choose J1 visa. For H1 visa, it's usually I would not say easier, but yeah, it's if you're not that much interested in fellowship, or if you don't want to work in remote areas, or if you're mainly interested in like being a hospitalist or a primary care physician over there, you can go for H1 visa, and there are good universities which offer that. And you don't have to do any waiver in H1 visas. You can work wherever you want, depending on your location, where you want to go. So that's the visa part. But after you get matched, you get all the paperwork from the university, and then you apply for the visa. And it's not guaranteed even then that you will get it. So it's really, that the study part and the interview process and the matching process is one part of the USMLE. The whole different part is just visa process. That even if you are if you have a spot, a university has a spot in your name that you're calling this person to work here, and we're gonna pay this person. Even then, US government can deny. No, we are not gonna grant them the visa. So that's totally another thing which you have to take in mind when you're doing USMLE. That I have to apply for visa, and that is some other mental burden. I would say that we don't have to worry about in Indian PG that we might not get visa, or visa might get delayed. In my residency, there was one person who had to start late in their residency, who started like 1 month late because their visa got delayed, even though they did nothing wrong and their university did nothing wrong. But we had like one less spot, one less person working for us because just US government decided that we're going to look into this person a little bit more before granting them visa to come work here. So that's the part about visas and USMLE steps. I'm just going to take a sip of water here. Anybody has any questions about USMLE steps or any